cruelest thing a family member did while helping you? I stood outside my burning house at 2 a.m. with my kids barefoot in pajamas while we watched 20 years of memories turn to ash. My sister Meredith pulled up before the firefighters even arrived. She jumped out of her Mercedes and wrapped her expensive cashmere coat around my 6-year-old daughter Piper, who was coughing from the smoke. My 10-year-old son Declan just stood there in shock while Meredith pulled him close and whispered that everything would be okay. I couldn't even speak. I just watched the flames eat through my kids' bedrooms and felt like the world was ending. Meredith took charge immediately, like she always did. She loaded us into her car and drove us to her huge house in the rich part of town. "What's mine is yours," she said, as she showed the kids to the guest bedrooms. She'd already put fresh sheets on the beds and laid out new pajamas she'd somehow bought at 3 in the morning. Piper got the room with the princess wallpaper and Declan got the one with the sports posters. Meredith held me while I finally broke down crying in her kitchen. The next few weeks felt like living in a dream. Meredith called in sick to her finance job to help us full-time. She spent hours on the phone with insurance companies using her business voice to get answers. She enrolled my kids in the neighborhood school and bought them whole new wardrobes without mentioning the price tags I saw her cutting off. Every morning she made pancakes shaped like animals for Piper and let Declan pick the music for the drive to school. At family dinners, she told everyone she was blessed to help and changed the subject when our aunts praised her generosity. But I should have noticed the notebook she started keeping in week 3. But I was too depressed to pay attention to anything except getting through each day. But by week 4, everything changed. Meredith started leaving that notebook open on the kitchen counter where I couldn't miss it. She'd written down every single expense in her perfect handwriting. Groceries for extra people cost $247. Gas for school drives added up to $89.50. Even the extra toilet paper got its own line at $23. Her husband Graham started making comments at dinner about how some people took advantage of kindness. He'd look right at my kids when he said people needed to learn to stand on their own feet. Meredith began agreeing with him in front of the family. At Sunday dinner, she pulled out actual receipts to show our aunts how much she'd spent. They praised her patience and said she was a saint for putting up with us so long. My kids heard every word. Piper stopped eating her pancakes and Declan asked if we were leaving soon. Then the worst possible scenario happened. It was the night of Piper's spring play. She'd worked so hard on her 3 lines as flower number 2, and Meredith promised we'd all celebrate at ice cream after. But when we got back to the house, the locks were different. Our stuff sat in garbage bags on the perfect lawn with a note taped to the top bag. "You need tough love to grow stronger. It's time to figure things out on your own." I drove to a parking lot and called the insurance company for my car while my kids slept in the back seat. I needed to know when I could access my payout to get us a place to live. The agent sounded confused. "Ma'am, that claim was paid out yesterday. The full $200,000 went to Meredith Sullivan as requested." My hands started shaking. The agent explained that I'd signed paperwork making Meredith a payee for the insurance money. That's when it all clicked. The morning after the fire, when I couldn't stop crying, Meredith had brought me papers to sign. She said it was for the insurance claim and I needed to sign quickly. I was on anxiety medication and hadn't slept in 36 hours. I signed whatever she put in front of me because I trusted her. She'd gotten the money the day before she locked us out. Everything suddenly made horrible sense. The way she'd taken control of everything. She was never helping us. She was just waiting to get paid. We slept in my car for 3 weeks. I showered at the gym and washed the kids' clothes at the laundromat. Declan tried to stay strong, but Piper cried every night asking why Aunt Meredith didn't love us anymore. A teacher noticed Declan falling asleep in class and called social services. The social worker was an angel who got us into transitional housing and connected me with a lawyer about the insurance theft. It took a year, but I rebuilt our lives. I got a decent job at a medical office and found a small apartment in a safe neighborhood. The kids made friends and Piper started smiling again. Declan joined the basketball team. We weren't rich, but we were okay. Then Meredith called. She was sobbing so hard I could barely understand her. Graham had left her for his 25-year-old secretary. In the divorce, he'd found out about my insurance money sitting in their joint account. He took half of everything, including the money that should have been mine. Meredith couldn't afford the house payment alone and the bank was foreclosing. "Please," she begged. "I need somewhere to stay while I figure things out. I was there for you when you needed me most. Family doesn't keep score, right?" I stayed quiet for a long moment. Then I pulled up the photos I'd saved on my phone. The receipts she'd shown everyone, the tough love note she'd taped to my daughter's things, the notebook where she'd counted every penny spent on her homeless sister and kids. "You taught me about tough love," I said. "Time to figure things out on your own." She lasted 2 weeks at our cousin's house before they changed their locks too. Turns out I wasn't the only family member she'd helped with strings attached.